Well, I see the clock is saying 12 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. I was just going to say good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. We're so glad that you all could be with us today. And hopefully you're all having, well, if you're on this call, you probably have electricity and you have internet, so that's a good thing. But hopefully everybody is doing okay after the weather. My kids are still home, so there might be some noise coming every once in a while, but anyway, hopefully they'll be in school tomorrow. But my name is London Wadike, and I work with K-State Research and Extension and also University of Missouri Extension. But today I'm here in my K-State role, and K-State Research and Extension is very glad to be working today with the Kansas Department of Agriculture to organize these farmers market and direct-to-consumer virtual workshops this year. It's so fun to see names of so many people that we've seen over the years at the in-person workshops, but it's nice to see you on screen too. This way we can all gather safely. So we have a great week of activities planned. Of course, we had sessions Monday through Wednesday. And then now today we're going to be learning about accepting SNAP, so the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program from MarketLink. And then we'll also be learning about the Double Up Food Bucks program from our colleagues with the Mid-America Regional Council, as well as the K-State Research and Extension. So tomorrow is our big day. That'll be a half day from 8:30 till 1 o'clock. We'll have our keynote speaker, Brian Copham from Colorado Department of Agriculture. We'll be talking about best practices for business success, which includes pricing, displays, consumer interaction hints. And then we'll have another guest speaker on marketing tips and tricks and how to engage with your consumers online, which we all know is very important these days. Then we have from the Vermont Law Center, we'll have how to identify common legal risks and best practices for managing them. Then we'll have a presentation by KDHE on the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. That'll be the training for vendors to accept those vouchers. Then we'll also have our K-State Research and Extension and Kansas Rural Center colleagues will talk about vegetable production resources. So that'll be a great day tomorrow also. So thanks so much for taking your time out of your day today to participate with us. And we know we have some participants from out of state today, which we're very excited about as well. We will note that, of course, some of these things that we'll be talking about today, in particular, the Double Up Food Bucks program is Kansas specific, but the MarketLink information, is general for all states. So, but just keep that in mind. Let me see. So yeah, if you want to find out more about it, if there is a Double Up Food Bucks program in your state, we can maybe help, but you might have to look for resources in your state also. So before I get to a few housekeeping things, I did want to note that we have a farm to school survey happening right now in Kansas, and my colleague's going to be dropping that here in the chat in just a minute. There it is. Perfect. Thanks, Sammy. So we really encourage all producers that are interested in filling out the survey. We'd love to hear from you. The survey is just a way that we can find out more about what's happening in Kansas related to farm to school and what questions and barriers you might have so that we can try to help develop resources to overcome those barriers. So we really appreciate your input on that survey. And there is another survey, we didn't put that link in the chat, for school food service, whatever the right word is, officials, I guess. But if you could fill out that producer survey, we'd appreciate it. Let me see. So housekeeping items. So during the presentation portion, please be sure to keep your microphone muted. You guys have been doing a great job on that all week, so appreciate that. If you do have a question during the presentation, please type that into the chat. We really do want to hear from you and want to make sure that we get your questions answered. That's why we have these sessions, is to get your questions answered. So please make sure to type your question in the chat. You can also raise your hand in the reactions button, I guess it is. And then we can call on you and you can unmute yourself during the question and answer time as well. Our colleagues with KDA are going to be monitoring the chat so we can make sure that we get your questions answered. If you are asking a question, it might be helpful for you to say your name, your city, market, or business so that we, if applicable, so that we can answer your question more accurately. The webinar is being recorded and will be posted online for all participants. And as much as possible, all the presentations will also be posted online, so you'll be able to access that information if you have questions on it. If you're selling pet treats or live plants, we have handouts and videos already posted on our website. So, and my colleague is going to put that into the chat as well. So you can just scroll down on that website. That's the From the Land of Kansas website. You can scroll down and it'll be below the register link, and then you can find it there. Finally, if you registered before January 18 and you requested to receive copies of our regulations for farmers market / direct-to-consumer sales, and or our food labeling publication and or the food sampling publication, you should have already received those publications. If you registered after January 18, you should be receiving those publications in the next few weeks. We'll send them another list of a round of people to send it to, so you'll be getting those in a few weeks. If you did not indicate that you wanted to receive those publications when you registered, or if you'd like additional copies, please just let us know. Again, they'll be putting that in the chat, that you can email the From the Land of Kansas group at Kansas Department of Ag, and they'll get it all compiled, and we'll make sure we get you the copies that you need. I'll just mention really briefly that we're very generously funded by the Carrie Ebert with the Kansas SARE, Sustainable Ag Research and Education Program, and KSAC, which helps to pay for the cost of the printing and mailing. So we appreciate her support. So I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague Janelle Dobbins with Kansas Department of Agriculture, and she's going to take us from here. Thanks very much again for coming today.
Thanks, Londa. Yeah, as Londa said, I'm Janelle Dobbins. I'm the marketing manager with the From the Land of Kansas program here at the Kansas Department of Agriculture. And we're going to do a quick poll because we just want to understand what everyone is kind of currently selling and you're interested in learning about more. So as we say here, you can pick baked goods, canned foods, other prepared foods, eggs, dairy products, produce, honey, or other. And if you're not seeing all those options I listed, you can kind of scroll down on your screen, or you can also pop answers into the chat. We'll give you here about 20 seconds more as I'm watching our participant level. But this just really kind of helps us know of who all is on the webinar today and will help us answer some questions. Give you about 5 more seconds here. Okay, it's looking like today our top group is selling produce. There's 84% of them. And then pretty close together are baked goods and canned goods like jams, jellies. But we still have eggs at 39%, dairy products. We have honey at 29%. So we have a nice mix today of everyone who's of different items you might be selling. So first up here today, as Londa had said, we're going to be talking about accepting the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which lots of people know as SNAP or EBT. And so we'll first start with Whitney Butler from Market Link is going to give a presentation on that. And then we will have a Q&A after that. Just give us a moment to get that video started here.
Hi everyone, my name is Whitney and I am a regional representative for the Market Link program. And today I'm excited to share with you information on Market Link, which helps farmers and farmers markets with becoming SNAP authorized retailers, as well as connecting them to USDA grant funded SNAP card reader equipment. Thanks so much to the Kansas Department of Agriculture for hosting us today. Thank you for helping us get the word out about our program. So what is Market Link? Market Link is a program of the nonprofit, the National Association of Farmers Market Nutrition Programs. was first developed in 2013 through a USDA grant opportunity, and it provides state-of-the-art SNAP point-of-sale equipment to direct marketing farmers in farmers markets. So we are a national program, and we're available for all farmers and farmers markets. So MarketLink is the result of a few key partnerships. It was created by the national nonprofit, the NAFMNP, and we have a cooperative agreement with the USDA, or more specifically, Food and Nutrition Services, which is the agency responsible for administering the SNAP program. So the FNS provides the grant funding for our program and allows us to submit the SNAP retailer applications on behalf of customers we work with. Also, Novadia Group provides the SNAP point of sale equipment. They developed the Totalpaygo app, which is what is provided through the grant. It is an app through which SNAP payments can be processed. In the interest of time, I'm going to skip this slide, but if you're interested in learning more about the NAFMNP, check out their website, nafmnp.org. So this USDA grant program has a life cycle of 4 years, and there have been multiple iterations since it was first introduced. MarketLink has won the grant multiple times, so some of you may be familiar with previous versions of our program, but our program has evolved to meet the changing requirements of the USDA. So here's what's new for the current grant. As far as eligibility, you must be either a direct marketing farmer or a farmer's market, and you must not have received equipment from this current grant or since October 2019. Next, a printer waiver. It's federally mandated that a printed receipt must be provided for SNAP transactions. However, the USDA provides a printed receipt waiver for those who receive equipment through this grant program. Also, Novadia Group, our equipment providers, are now a SNAP third-party processor, which means they can process SNAP directly, and I'll explain why this is important in a minute. And for those familiar with the previous version of MarketLink, our original app, Mobile Market Plus, is being phased out, and the new app is called Totalpaygo. And finally, we are now partnered with Square as an option to add credit and debit processing. So I'd just like to elaborate on the printer waiver. Just to reiterate, this waiver is only available for those who receive equipment from this grant. So if you do get equipment through this grant, then instead of a printed receipt, customers will be given the option for an email or text receipt. It's important to note that you can still check a customer's SNAP balance through the app without conducting a sale. And currently this waiver only lasts until the end of the grant cycle, so October 2023. The USDA is considering whether they will extend the waiver once this grant is over, but we are still waiting to hear back from them on this. But if for whatever reason you need or want a printer, those are available for purchase from Novadia Group. Okay, so why is it important that Novadia Group is a third-party processor? What this means is that Novadia Group is now authorized to process SNAP transactions directly instead of having to go through another third-party processor. So if you're familiar with our former app, Mobile Market Plus, we had to partner with WorldPay because they were our third-party processor. So now that Novadia Group is a third-party processor, it's much more efficient to process SNAP, and they can pass on these cost savings to customers and give them more flexibility. This means the ability to have a month-to-month subscription that you can start and stop as appropriate to your season, or you can choose a yearly subscription. There's no long-term contracts. There are no early termination fees, no per transaction fees for SNAP sales, and no setup fees or ACH banking fees. So before we get into the actual steps in the MarketLink program, I'd like to go over the benefits of accepting SNAP, illustrated in this lovely positive feedback cycle. So we'll start with the obvious in purple. SNAP is a $100 billion program nationwide. When your farm or market accepts SNAP, you're able to access that customer base and increase your sales potential. So that's red. Of course, beyond profitability, you are providing food access to your community's most vulnerable population. There's orange. So when SNAP customers are able to spend their benefits locally, they are supporting your local economy. You are also sending an important message to your community that everyone is welcome at your market and that you are invested in your community's well-being. There's yellow. Now, customers who shop at farmers markets buy more fruits and veggies and are therefore more likely to lead healthier lives. There's dark green. And finally, this all provides unique marketing opportunities to help promote your farm or market. There's green. And here's a few more reasons you might consider accepting SNAP. So as I mentioned, SNAP is a $100 billion program. Of that, currently only 0.12% is being spent through farmers and farmers markets. So as a result of the pandemic, there was a 20% increase in SNAP participants from 2019 to 2020. These numbers point to an unfortunate opportunity for farmers and farmers markets. So additionally, SNAP is also an excellent companion program to farmers market nutrition programs, or FMNP, such as WIC and seniors programs, because not only does it reach different customers, but also the SNAP program allows a greater variety of food to be purchased, which we'll talk about more in the next slide. So what this graph is showing you is the red line on the bottom is the funding going into FMNPs, WIC and senior programs, and the purple line on the top is the amount of SNAP benefits available. So if you're currently only accepting FMNP customers, that area in the middle is the potential for increased sales. So let's take a closer look at SNAP, or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Who is eligible to receive SNAP benefits? So people qualify based on income and household factors. In 2020, 44 million Americans received SNAP benefits, and a large portion of the SNAP community is low-income working families and the elderly. What foods are eligible to be purchased with SNAP benefits? As I mentioned, WIC and seniors program shoppers are usually limited to fruits, vegetables, cut herbs, and honey, whereas with SNAP, shoppers can also buy meats, fish, dairy, eggs, baked goods, processed foods, honey, cider, juices, herbs, and even plants and seeds that will produce food. What is not allowed are non-food products, wine and alcohol, hot foods, and foods meant to be eaten on site. So those last two are excluded because, as the SNAP title suggests, this program is supposed to be for foods that will supplement your pantry. All right, now let's talk about the steps in the market link process. So I'll go into each of these in detail, but a quick overview. Step 1, anyone interested should complete our eligibility assessment on our website. Step 2, if you have not done so already, you must get authorized by the USDA to accept SNAP payments. Step 3, if you are eligible for the grant and you've been authorized by the USDA to accept SNAP, then you will set up your SNAP and potentially credit debit merchant accounts. And then step 4, your SNAP card reader will be shipped to you. You activate the app on your phone or tablet, and you will be ready to accept SNAP. So the first step is to fill out the eligibility assessment on our website. This will determine whether you are eligible for the grant-funded equipment. So who is eligible? Direct marketing farmers, which the USDA defines as individual producers of agricultural products that sell directly to the public. Also, farmers markets, which meet the USDA definition of 2 or more vendors selling their own agricultural products directly to the public at a fixed location. So if you feel unsure, please feel free to contact us, as others may be considered on a case-by-case basis. The USDA has several other categories that you may fall into, such as a food co-op, produce market, or a meat market, to name a few. So those other categories are not eligible for the grant, but I'll cover the other ways we can help you in the next slide. So who is not eligible? Businesses that aren't direct marketing farmers or farmers markets, or direct marketing farmers and farmers markets that have already received equipment from this grant cycle, no double dipping, or farmers and farmers markets that have functioning equipment that they've received through a state-sponsored program. So even if you are not eligible for the grant-funded equipment, we can still help in a lot of ways. Line by line here, regardless of if you are eligible, we can still help you with the USDA SNAP retailer application. Now, if you are grant eligible, you can receive a free SNAP card reader and a 1-year subscription for the Totalpaygo app. If you're not eligible, that card reader and app are available for purchase. As we discussed, there's a printer waiver for those who receive equipment through the grant. If you're not eligible, unfortunately, you will need to purchase a printer and provide a printed receipt. Now, if you get equipment through this grant, we'll help you set it up and train you how to use it. If you're not eligible, then we can still advise you on your equipment options. Finally, we're here to help with any questions you may have about accepting SNAP or our grant program, regardless of your eligibility. One of the valuable free services that MarketLink offers is our technical assistance. We have a nationwide team that is available to help you through the whole process, including the eligibility assessment, the USDA SNAP retailer application. We can walk you through it, or we can even submit it for you. That would allow us to monitor your application and get it approved as smoothly and efficiently as possible. We can help you set up your equipment, train you to use it, and we're happy to discuss any questions you may have about accepting SNAP. So a great starting point is to book a phone call with one of our regional representatives. You can do this on our website. We're happy to talk all things SNAP. We don't have all the answers, but we can help guide you through the process and connect you to helpful resources. So if you haven't done so already, your next step is to do the SNAP retailer application with the USDA. If you'd like to submit it on your own, we can still help guide you through the process, or we highly recommend you have us submit it on your behalf. Either way, we encourage you to first schedule a phone call with us to talk about what to expect and how your farm or market should apply. Here's a brief overview of the process. So first, the application must be completed online through the USDA's website. If you have MarketLink apply on your behalf, you'll simply need to gather your business information and schedule a phone appointment. We'll fill out the application for you. If you do it on your own, you'll need to first create an account on the USDA website, then you can fill out the application. We do have step-by-step instruction guides to help you through the application if you do it on your own. Second, for the application, you'll need to identify who will be the responsible official for your SNAP program. So for farms, this is required to be the owner or owners if it's a partnership. And for farmers markets, this depends on how it is legally organized. So give us a call for guidance. This person will be responsible for ensuring that their SNAP program follows the federally mandated rules. And this is the only person that the USDA will speak with regarding the SNAP permit, unless you add an authorized user. Third, once you fill out the online application, you'll then need to upload some required documents to the USDA website. And what is required will depend on how you are legally organized. So this list is not exhaustive, but in general, each responsible official must submit a copy of a government issued photo ID and a copy of their social security card. So the only exemption to the social security card requirement is for 501c3 nonprofit farmers markets or government-owned farmers markets. There is also a signature page that each responsible official must sign. And if your state requires any business licenses for you to operate, you should also upload those. Finally, if you are a 501c3, they will want a copy of your IRS determination letter. So once all those documents are uploaded, the USDA will start reviewing your application. They sometimes ask for additional information, so it is imperative that you keep a close eye on your email and mailbox for any communication from them, because if you miss their deadline to respond, they will withdraw your application and you'll have to start over. So that brings us to the next point. It's also very important to check the status of your application regularly. So you can check your status online, but it's also very helpful to call the USDA periodically to check in. So if you have us submit the application on your behalf, we'll do this for you. In our experience, calling them frequently helps expedite getting approved. So once you've been approved, you'll get an emailed SNAP permit, and they will also send you a paper copy in the mail. So a few important things to remember for both participating in our program and the USDA application. You must have an active email account that you check regularly. This is the primary way that both the USDA and MarketLink will communicate with you. Also, you must have a bank account for the electronic transactions because the SNAP payments will go directly into this bank account. Also, for the USDA application, you should collect all your business and personal information before starting the process. This will make for a much smoother road. Finally, start early. The whole process can take anywhere from 1 to 3 months to get approved. So don't wait until spring because the USDA gets swamped with applications then. So right now is a great time to do this. Now, once you've been approved to accept SNAP, you will need a point of sale device to accept SNAP payments. So let's talk about the equipment that MarketLink provides. We call this a bring your own device program, meaning that customers need to provide their own smartphone or tablet to run the Totalpaygo app on. This can be your personal device. It must also have Bluetooth capabilities because that's how you connect your phone or tablet to the SNAP card reader, which looks similar to a Square card reader. And also to run the Totalpaygo app, you will need to have either a data plan or a connection to Wi-Fi. If you do add a data plan, any phone carrier will work. And MarketLink will provide the SNAP card reader and the use of the Totalpaygo app for free for 1 year. So what are the transaction rates and fees going to look like? For SNAP transactions with Totalpaygo, there is no per transaction fee. The cost will eventually be in the subscription to the Totalpaygo app. If you're eligible to the grant, then that cost is covered for 1 year. After the first year, if you decide to continue using it, the app will cost either $191.40 per year or $19.95 a month for a month-to-month subscription. The grant also covers the cost of the Bluetooth SNAP card reader. Now, if you'd like to add credit or debit card processing to the Totalpaygo app, there are 2 options. We are partnered with both Square and WorldPay, and you can choose what works best for you. So with Square, the per transaction rate is 10 cents per transaction plus 2.6% of the sale. There is no contract required. You will need to acquire a Square card reader for those credit and debit sales. So with this option, you'd have the one app open, Totalpaygo, but you'll have 2 card readers connected at the same time, one for SNAP cards and one for credit debit cards. Now with WorldPay, the per transaction rate is 15 cents plus 1.79% of the sale. They do require you to sign a 3-year contract with an annual fee of $199. One benefit of WorldPay is that the card reader that we provide can process credit and debit cards for WorldPay customers. So one app, one card reader with WorldPay. The numbers speak for themselves. We generally recommend Square unless you are already locked into a bulk pay contract. So just to summarize, here's what's covered by the grant for 1 year and what costs to expect after that first year is up. The grant covers the cost of the SNAP card reader entirely. That's yours to keep. It covers 1 year of the Totalpaygo app, and there are no per transaction fees for processing SNAP through Totalpaygo. You also have that printer waiver, so no cost for printing receipts. And if you decide to add credit and debit processing, those fees we just discussed will apply. Now, beyond the costs associated with your smart device, it's essentially free to process SNAP for 1 year. Now, after the first year, you will, if you want to continue using the Totalpaygo app, you will need to pay for the Totalpaygo subscription. The same fees for processing credit and debit will apply, but you'll still have no per transaction fee for SNAP sales and the continued use of the Bluetooth SNAP card reader, and you will still have the printer waiver, pending on how long that lasts if the USDA decides to continue offering that. So here's what the Totalpaygo app will look like on your smart device. On the far left is the sign-in screen. Next is the home screen where you select the type of sale you want to conduct, and what tender types show up on your app will depend on what you're set up with. So if you add credit and debit, there will be a credit button. The next screens are showing you some of the settings and how you can have both the SNAP card reader, which is called Chipper BT, Chipper Bluetooth, and a Square credit card reader connected at the same time. So in addition to the Totalpaygo app, there is an online portal or website where you can sign onto your Totalpaygo account, adjust settings, and also view and download your sales data. So here are some of the handy displays. You can look at your sales on an hourly, weekly, monthly basis, and also your sales by payment method. And all your sales data can be downloaded into Excel, QuickBooks, or whatever accounting software that you use. So if you'd like to learn more about Totalpaygo, here's their website and social media handles. And also for folks that don't qualify for the grant but are interested in purchasing equipment, you can find out more information on their website. So if you're interested, your first step is to fill out that eligibility assessment on our website. Once you complete that, you'll get an email with instructions on the next steps. So even if you don't think you're eligible to the grant, but would like assistance with the USDA SNAP application, then you should still submit this eligibility assessment. This will get you into our system and connect you to one of our regional representatives. We also have a lot of other developments in the works. We are working on adding all tender types to the app, including eWIC and eFMNP, as well as loyalty and incentive programs so that you can reward your shoppers for coming back to you. And also very exciting, we were recently awarded the USDA grant to start developing the ability for farmers to accept SNAP payments online. So you may be aware that it has not been possible for small retailers to accept SNAP through an online store because of the USDA's strict and therefore expensive security standards. The USDA recognized this problem and created a grant opportunity to develop a solution for this, which we won. So if you're interested, please get in touch with us. We are currently in the process of developing the solution, and our goal is to be getting farmers set up for online SNAP by spring 2022. Now here's where you can find us on social media and keep up with what's going on. And book a phone call with us. We're happy to chat SNAP, or you can send an email directly to one of our team members or our general email address. Also, I encourage you to check out our website at www.marketlink.org. Thank you everyone for your time. I'm happy to answer some questions now.
Okay, that was a great
Hey,
video.
everyone. My name is Whitney, and
We'll get it. The video actually stopped here, and I'm going to turn over the podium here to my coworker, Dana Ladner, who's going to take us through the Q&A. And Whitney did the video, but we have her coworker, Lisa Roach, today, who will actually be answering all the questions for you. She's been answering some of them, I know already. Okay, Dana.
Great, thanks, Janelle. Lisa, you've done a great job of answering some of the questions that were in the chat, but I want to bring those to everybody's attention if they're listening on the phone with us as well. So if we can just quickly go through these. We ask about being able to use this at the farm store, and you stated yes. Do you want to go ahead and give a few more details on that, please?
Yeah, basically how the regulations work with the USDA definitions. Direct marketing farmer can get their farm as a business as a whole authorized for SNAP, meaning that if I'm operating under my farm's name, I can accept SNAP anywhere I go to sell my products, because the USDA understands that farmers are not a traditional business model and they are pretty mobile. Sometimes they have a farm stand, sometimes they go to farmers markets. So yeah, the short answer is yes, you can accept SNAP at your farm store and at the farmers market as long as you are a direct marketing farmer.
Great. The question came in about using the point of sale system with credit and debit, and that was Whitney covered that in there, but then we kind of continued on. What happens after the first year of that grant? So they've used it and now we're into the second year. Yearly option that they need to pay for it. Can they go month to month during the market season? A little more information on that, please.
Yeah, so once you fill out the Market Link Eligibility Assessment, that basically just gets you connected to one of our regional representatives and we'll let you know if you're approved for the grant. The next step is to get SNAP authorized, but let's fast forward and say you're ready and you got your card reader, or you're ready to get your card reader. The year starts as soon as you fill out the form to get set up with subscription to Totalpaygo. So you'll definitely get an email. You'll know when you're doing that, and you'll get a confirmation email and a welcome email, and that's when the grant year starts. So it's 1 year from that day. It's not like a calendar year. It's like from March to March or April to April. And then after that, you'll get plenty of notices upcoming that your subscription is going to renew for the year. So that's when you would want to email Totalpaygo or call them and let them know, I'm a seasonal market and I'd like to switch to a monthly plan. So if you're seasonal, then you could start it when your season starts and pay that $19.95 a month. And then you'll want to make sure to email them or call them again to turn it off. If your market is open year round, of course, it makes more sense to do the yearly subscription because you actually save 20% by doing that. So we hope that with this grant that it gives you a year to build your customer base, do lots of marketing, kind of get the word out so that you get enough SNAP customers to justify the cost after the free grant year is up.
Great. I know some folks are currently using things along the line, and sometimes bankings change and where you bank at, et cetera. Is there an easy way to change the banking information on the TotalPay app?
I believe you do it by emailing them, but I think they have a form too. I might need to confirm that, but I have done a little bit of research and I see that they have an online form, but they're pretty easy to get a hold of through email too. So that would be a way to do it. So you'd want to give yourself a couple weeks to get that situated.
Well, great. Let's see. If a vendor has a Market Link account and they're selling at a farmer's market, will they still need to fill out the sales slip handed out by the market coordinator and hand it to them? This question just came in. Or if we have somebody that's listening in that has experience with this, you can sure answer that in the chat for us. But if a vendor has their Market Link account and they're selling at a farmer's market, will they still need to fill out the sales slip handed out by the market coordinator and hand it to them?
I'm guessing that refers to a receipt system at a farmer's market that accepts SNAP as a whole. So whoever the market manager might want to speak more to that, but it's my understanding that, well, at least at the farmers markets I've worked at, if a vendor accepts SNAP directly, I wouldn't see why the market manager would have any problem with them doing that. Like, I don't see why they would require them to go through the Market Snap system if the vendor accepts it on their own. But that might be something you'd want to like talk to the market manager about for specifics.
Well, great. You've provided a great information on the Q&A. Whitney did a great job. You guys are very accessible with that. I think we will go ahead and roll to our next presenter. And if other people have questions on the market link stuff while this is going, go ahead and drop those into the chat because I know questions come up. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Dana. So next up here is Erin Bishop with K-State Research and Extension, and Donna Martin with the Mid-America Regional Council will speak about Double Up Food Bucks, a healthy food incentive program offered at Kansas farmers markets and farm stands.
Hello, my name is Donna Martin, and I am the project director for the Double Up Food Bucks program in Kansas and Missouri. And I work at an organization called Mid-America Regional Council, which is the Metropolitan Regional Planning Organization in Kansas City. We are the lead organization for the Double Up Food Bucks program Heartland. And today I'm with Erin Bishop. And she is the coordinator for Double Up Food Bucks with the farmers markets and farm stands in Kansas, outside of the Kansas City area. And so we're just going to share some information with you today about the Double Up Food Bucks program, and hoping that we'll be able to have a good discussion after the presentation, and just hoping also that you all will be interested in participating if you aren't already in our program at your farmers markets. So we will get into the presentation then. Thank you. So Double Up Food Bucks, what is it? It is a national healthy food incentive model originally started by an organization in Michigan called Fair Food Network. And the program has three kind of objectives or goals. I like to call them the legs of the stool. So the first one is that we are trying to bring more healthy food to families. And in this case, it's families who are on tight incomes. So we really want to help them bring healthy food home to their families. Also, we really would like our farmers in Kansas and Missouri to be able to make more money as they sell their fresh produce. So that's a really important piece of the work that we are doing. And the third element of our program is to help the food dollars stay in our local economy. So with the end goal of actually just making our communities stronger. Next slide. So a little bit of history about the Double Up Food Bucks program in our area. So originally, it started out as a pilot program in some grocery stores in Kansas City back in 2015. And then in 2016 to 2019, we endeavored to bring that pilot program in the grocery stores together with a number of different farmers market incentive programs that were going in Kansas and Missouri. And so we applied for a USDA FINI grant, and we're successful in getting that grant from 2016 to 2019. That allowed us to offer the program in communities as far west as Salina and as far east as St. Louis, Missouri. The total amount of funding that we had for that grant was $5.8 million. And that was half from the USDA and half from local and regional funders. And during that time period, nearly $2.5 million of incentives were redeemed by SNAP customers. SNAP being the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as food assistance to a lot of people. Next slide. So then in 2019, our USDA grant ended, and we did not have USDA funding in place for 2020. So we, from January to September of 2020, we really targeted our program. We really brought our program to a real focused effort with completely with private and some local public money in our area, including the Kansas Health Foundation, which has been a significant funder of our efforts. And we had to also bring our scope a little bit closer in. So we were funded for the whole state of Kansas and the Kansas City area and west central Missouri. So we did not have the funding for the eastern and southern parts of Missouri. During 2020, that January to September 2020 time period, nearly $360,000 of incentives were redeemed. And also in that time frame, we were busy applying for another USDA grant, which in late summer or early fall of 2020, we were notified that we did receive the award for that. So that actually started in the fall of 2020 and will continue to go into 2024. So that award was for $8.1 million. And in 2020, nearly 2020 to 2021, nearly $890,000 of incentives were redeemed. So we're super excited to see that the program is continuing to grow and do well, and we are being successful in getting incentives out to folks who really do need it during this time. So for the rest of this time period, we are offering the program in grocery stores, farmers markets, farm stands, and a couple mobile markets. About 80 locations are supported by this grant so far, 48 farmers markets and 32 grocery stores. But in 22, we are expecting some significant growth in all those areas. So we are excited that we have more locations and more communities who will be able to utilize the program, and are always looking for, to work with and grow with new locations in Kansas City, and the West Central area.
So I am going to talk a little bit about how the program operates at the locations that I work with. So farmers markets, farm stands, and mobile markets. At a farmer's market, the customer would go to a centralized location at a farmer's market, whoever is operating the EBT equipment and the tokens, and they would be purchased through their EBT card. And then those SNAP tokens are matched. Those SNAP tokens are eligible to purchase any eligible item at the market that is SNAP eligible. And there are some restrictions on SNAP funds, but food items that are not hot typically included. Double up food bucks then are matched up to $25 a day on those SNAP sales. And that's a different token that we provide. And the double up token then can be used to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables at the market. So the SNAP token is eligible for any SNAP eligible food, or can be used for that. And then the double up token is used solely for fresh fruits and vegetables. Once the customer receives those tokens, then they shop with the vendors of their choice that are accepting those tokens. It's went backwards. One more. It's a little different at farm stands and mobile markets. There's no token system at these locations. So for a farm stand, a customer would be shopping with their SNAP EBT card, and at the point of sale would be receiving a 50% discount on fresh fruits and vegetables. And that can be up to $25 a day of discount. So it's at the point of sale, and it's just on fresh fruits and vegetables. The same thing with a mobile market, because there's just one vendor selling for that 50% at the point of sale. A lot of lessons learned before I came on board, and then also during my time working with Double Up Food Box. And so some crucial elements for success or lessons that have been learned through the process. A market needs to be able to accept SNAP to participate in the program. SNAP is what we're matching on, so that is a priority piece. We would like to see the markets offering SNAP for at least 1 year prior to being part of the program, just so that way the system is down for distributing tokens and for vendors to be aware of accepting tokens. We also want to be working with markets or farm stands that have options of fresh fruits and vegetables for folks to shop. So a variety of choices is key in getting folks to your market to shop with Double Up Food Box tokens and SNAP dollars. Markets need to be able to train their volunteers, their staff, whoever's implementing the program. That includes vendors to know how the program operates. So some intentional educational training efforts in place. Communication is also key. So being able to describe the program to SNAP customers, explain it, but also sharing the program with folks throughout your community that may be helping to promote the program to SNAP households. And we also know that locations are most successful when they are near where SNAP beneficiaries live. So there's often a transportation to get to the markets can often be a barrier for those households. So if it's a location that folks can easily get to, it does increase your usage, and it does make the market more successful in our program. So there's a lot of benefits too for the market. For markets, not for farm stands, but for markets, we provide a stipend to those markets to help with some of the cost of implementing and administering the program. So paying for your EBT equipment or the service to accept EBT SNAP, stipends can be used for that, promotion, whatever the market sees fit. Another thing could be to cash flow, vendor reimbursement in between when vendors are reimbursed by the market, and then we reimburse the market for the Double Up dollars. There's also the benefit of increased farmers market traffic. So you have a lot of new customers, and oftentimes SNAP households are bringing other folks with them to shop at the farmers market. So it's quite a bit increase in your, often in your traffic. Vendors are moving more fresh fruits and vegetables, and then in turn, they're making more income off that fresh fruits and vegetables. And it also increases the income and the moving of products for vendors that aren't selling fresh fruits and vegetables, but do have SNAP eligible items. Customers, SNAP households then have more tokens to spend on fresh fruits and vegetables in the Double Up. So they can use their SNAP tokens on a variety of items at the market. And then there's a lot of increased community awareness and buy-in at the farmers market. So your community partners know the work that you're doing. It's, there's a lot of communication and promotion done with Double Up Food Box that Donna will talk about next. But it really does increase that kind of awareness of the work that you're doing with your community. So I will turn it back over to Donna.
Great, thanks, Erin. So one of the things that I think sometimes the markets and farm stands might not be aware of all the time, that the Double Up Food Box Collaborative, which is Mark and K-State Research and Extension and other organizations that work with other farmers markets and grocery stores, do on the behalf of the program and on behalf of all of our locations is communications. We have an initiative basically across all of our geographies to create communications so that essentially it looks like one seamless program across the entire area. And the way we do that is by developing all these different elements of a communications plan. So we've created branding, we develop marketing materials. We have a website called doubleupheartland.org where we describe how the program works. We have a locations map, which is probably the favorite place that SNAP customers go to find where they can go in their community to use this program. We do a lot of advertising of the program through social media. We do print advertising. We do some transit advertising where that's appropriate, where there's transit available. We've provided media kits and things like that. We also provide a lot of brochures and do presentations for our community partners in the communities where we have locations. So anything from schools to hospitals, public health departments, workforce development agencies, all kinds of partners we reach out to and provide information and brochures so that they can in turn then provide information to the clients or patients or customers that they work with. We also have a hotline that we personally answer. And so it's not just a, press 1 if you have a question about this. They actually talk to us on the phone and we help them navigate the program or just describe how it works. And so I think that's a huge benefit. Actually, people are very surprised when they actually get a real person. So it's kind of a nice touch. So we do a lot of things on a market's behalf, in other words, to really promote the program. Next slide. So this, I'm just going to run through the next few slides pretty quickly because I've pretty thoroughly described what we're talking about. But here's just a kind of a snapshot of like one of the pages from our website. And you can see there's a page for at the top how it works. Another one for locations, which shows the map, and they can put their zip code in and they can find how many grocery stores or farmers markets are within so many miles from their location. We also put our brochures and things up on that link too. Next slide. Yeah, go ahead. One of the things that we do every year, once a year, is we send out a mailing through the Kansas Department of Children and Families and also the Department of Social Services in Missouri that basically includes a letter that explains the program and also includes the brochure that we develop. And then the two different agencies send those letters out to all the SNAP recipients within the zip code where we have a location. So we reach a lot of people through a lot of SNAP folks directly through this mailing. And I feel like it's a good way to reach folks. So it is a very direct way to communicate to the program. And almost every single year we hear from our markets that after this mailing goes out, they definitely see an increase in people coming to their market. So that's kind of nice that people are paying attention. So great, thanks. Next slide. So here's just a sampling of the variety of posters and flyers and things that we create and provide at no cost to the markets that participate. We like to do general signage that kind of points people in the right direction to where they need to go to get the tokens at the market. We do general community signage. You see signage, some of the transit signs there. And then we provide signs that are at the information booth and also at all the vendor booths. So the ones particularly that define what tokens each vendor is able to accept seems to be really helpful for SNAP customers. Next slide. And here's just some examples of the social media posts that we've done over the years. Sometimes our social media person gets a little creative with some interesting fruit and vegetable related jokes or other things like that. And really, we're actually very open to expanding what we're doing in terms of social media and other kinds of advertising, and would love to be able to highlight some of the farms that are involved in the markets or markets themselves. So this is an area where I feel like we can be really creative. Next slide. And I think that's the end of our presentation. So we'd be happy to take any questions and really hope to be able to have some conversation with you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Great. Erin and Donna, thank you guys very much for your presentation. I know we're right at 1 o'clock, but there's 2 questions that have come in that I'd like to get answered before we finish up for the day. And the first one that comes in asks, does Kansas participate in the WIC Farmers Market Program? And Erin, you went ahead and answered that in the chat, but you want to give the answer so everybody can hear it?
Sure, and I'll let Donna or Lisa fill in too if they know more. But Kansas currently does not accept, have the farmers market nutrition program that accepts WIC.
Okay, the second one, which I'm sure a lot of people on here are kind of curious about, is how this all works with on-farm programs, weekly CSAs. If you guys could just give a quick update of what you put in the chat on how that would work.
Go ahead, Erin.
Okay, yeah, so CSAs are an option. There's just a few restrictions. So first of all, it would be a farm stand model for a CSA. So it'd be 50% off the sale of that CSA for that week or that month or whatever that looks like. As Donna mentioned in the comments, it is not, the discount is not applied to registration fees or anything like that. It's solely on the food items. And the way that it's currently set up with SNAP rules, that purchase cannot be made more than 2 weeks in advance. So it couldn't be a prepaid CSA for a month down the road. The other restriction is that online payments right now, unless you're specifically approved, and that has really just been at larger retailers and it's starting to trickle down to smaller retailers, the card must be swiped in person. So you couldn't take a charge online for that unless you have specific authorization to do that. And that's a further application process with the USDA.
Got it, but it is possible. So that's the best
Absolutely.
thing about it. So that's super
Absolutely.
exciting. Donna, do you have anything to add to that?
I would only add that we have had a couple programs try a CSA model, and one program had a CSA where the box was a set price every week, like it was consistently the same price. So they basically made up a box that they felt was, I believe it was $30. So the customer paid $15 with their SNAP benefit, then we paid the other $15. In that case, it was a really easy way to, we knew what the total price was because every week it was the same. We also had a CSA model that was not that way, and if you are thinking of a model where the price is variable from week to week, then we will need to kind of work with you to make sure that we're clear. It's very clear in your documentation, how much that box was worth this week versus next week and the week after. So we'll work with you. Yeah.
Well, great. And it goes back to one of the slides that you have. Communication is so important. So that's great. Thank you guys for joining us today for the presentation. With that, I'll go ahead and turn it back to our team.
Great. Thanks very much, Dana. And thank you so much to all of our, all the great questions that we had. We had a lot of good questions today. And thanks to Lisa and Donna and Erin for answering questions. And I'll say that from my experience, all these people that presented today are super helpful on answering questions. And if you have, questions, like Dana said, if you have questions following this, please be sure to ask. I'll just say really briefly. So if any farmers market in Kansas is not currently accepting SNAP and would like assistance, definitely reach out to Lisa. And you can also reach out to Erin Bishop. she can help you at least, kind of shepherd you through the process. So the first step to be able to, as you know, the first step to do double up food box is to accept SNAP first. So definitely, be able to accept SNAP, and then you can join the double up food box program and can really help more. So, and I just think these are wonderful programs and are super excited that we can provide them. So, and by the way, I'll just mention too, I did send a message to KDHE and ask them the question about the WIC at farmers markets in case anybody else was curious. I know that they've tried in the past to be able to implement the program, but my understanding is there just hasn't been funding available. I will say Missouri is adding it this year for the first time. So maybe that's a sign that it's possible in the future, but anyway, we might have more information from KDHE tomorrow even. But so with that, we really just again appreciate you all hanging in there today, a few extra minutes, because this is great questions that you all had. So at the conclusion of the webinar series, so tomorrow afternoon, you'll be getting an email with the link to an evaluation survey. And we really would appreciate your input on that survey. So we know what we should include next year, what we should do differently, any input that you have is really appreciated. And then you'll also receive an email next week with the link to all the recordings, and the senior farmers market program is tomorrow. So I just saw the question in the chat. So I'll just clarify, that's tomorrow. The senior farmers market nutrition program is tomorrow. Let me see. So, and then again, like I mentioned earlier, the funding for this series is made possible by the Kansas Center for Sustainable Agriculture and Alternative Crops and the Kansas Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education Program. So that's Carrie Ebert and KSRE, and then the Kansas Department of Agriculture. So we hope to see you later tomorrow. We hope to see you tomorrow for our session tomorrow morning. It starts at 8:30. So, and if you have questions, you can give KDA a call, 785-564-6757. And I see our colleagues are putting their contact information in the chat. So if you have questions for MarketLink, please feel free. And KDA's information and Erin's information is in there. So please feel free to reach out. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.